The 15-Point Plan is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network.
Welcome back to another episode of the 15-Point Plan podcast with yours truly, Ryan Greigg, and my host, Jacqueline Smith.
Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to continue to break down another point of the 15-Point Plan. And our goal always with this podcast is to empower you to be a healthier, happier, and more energized version of yourself.
That's right. And today, Jacqueline, I'm super excited because we are getting into, well, maybe not the most exciting thing on the 15-Point Plan, but to me, I have learned to love journaling. And today we're going to talk about journaling and maybe even add in a little bit of gratitude with that. But in preparation for this, you came up with some really incredible science as to maybe why we should journal. Could you share that science with us, Jacqueline?
Absolutely. I was surprised to read that journaling has been scientifically proven to decrease stress levels by double digits. And it has been linked between better mental and physical health as well. And then it's also been linked to improving learning, memory, and retention, to increase self-awareness, which is the foundation for emotional intelligence and more feelings of positivity. And then this is what really floored me. Journaling has been linked to improved immune system function, fewer stress-related visits to the doctor, reduced blood pressure, improved lung function, improved liver function, and journaling helps cultivate gratitude.
Jacqueline, it was almost like you just listed off all of the things that I want a little bit more of. So it's like less stress, better mental health, better self-awareness. I'm going to feel better, but my immune system's going to feel a little bit better. I can go to the doctor less. This sounds like a miracle thing. Like, how do we not know this about such a simple thing as journaling with a little bit of gratitude to go with it? That's super powerful.
Yeah, it's crazy to me how such a simple habit can have such a profound impact. And I guess I wasn't as surprised that it was linked to better mental health and feelings of positivity. But those physical benefits really came by surprise to me. And then also just the fact about how much it can decrease your stress. And we're all so stressed, just as a society these days, we've got so many inputs, and to decrease your stress level by double digit just by journaling. Ryan, why is it so hard for us to journal?
Double digit reduction in your stress levels is insane. And what I'm hearing is by doing this, we're just going to have less stress. We're going to have more energy. And then imagine stacking that with those other points of the 15-Point Plan. I always like to say this, Jacqueline, like we go from being average humans to feeling like a superhuman. And it's incredible that something as simple as journaling can do this for us. And I think we all wonder then why don't we do more of it, or what's preventing us from doing it? I know when I wake up in the morning, it's one of the first things that I do. And when I wake up in the morning, we've talked about this on previous podcasts of waking up and having something on our calendar that really excites us to get us out of bed and to motivate us for the day. And even though we do have those, it can still be hard to get out of bed sometimes. It can still be hard to not think about our list of things to do, maybe the bad things that happened in the day before or in our life. And we go down that negative path. And what I can tell you is we can easily switch that first thing in the morning with this journaling process with a little bit of gratitude. So it's cool to see how powerful this actually is, but let's break down maybe as to some steps that would make it easier for people to do.
Yeah, and you have a great acronym that you use for your journaling. Why don't you share that?
I'm big on acronyms, Jacqueline. They help me remember things. And this is something that I learned a long time ago that I have adapted. And a lot of people seem to enjoy it because, like me, when it comes to journaling, we just don't know what to write about. And I don't think there's a right or wrong way, but here's a system that if you're not sure what to write about, maybe this can give you a guideline. And I love this because it's going to touch on a couple of different areas of our mind and of our body, of who we want to be and where we want to go in our life. So it's an acronym, Jacqueline, and the acronym is TIDE, just like the ocean, the tide, TIDE. And I break that down. The T stands for thankful. In other words, gratitude. So the first thing that I do in the morning after my meditation is I write 10 things I'm thankful for, or 10 things I'm grateful for. Usually the first 5 come pretty easily. Then I might have to think about the next 5. But what that does is it instantly puts me into a state of gratitude. If I wasn't feeling grateful or happy before that, well, look, I just wrote 10 things, not just one, but 10 things that I have to be grateful for. It's hard to be grumpy after that.
Mm-hmm.
So simple, 10 things that I'm thankful for. That's putting me into a positive mindset. Then I get into my intentions for the day, the I, my intentions. Who do I intend to be today? How do I intend to show up as a leader, as a father, as a son, as a brother, as a friend, as a best friend, as a spouse? What are my intentions for the day? I intend to be peaceful, patient, and graceful. I intend to take action. I intend to dream big. I intend to easily and effortlessly help 8 different people each month with their real estate goals. Jacqueline, because I'm a realtor and that's what I do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting my intentions or maybe my affirmations onto paper. But I know who I want to show up as that day. The next thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to take it one step further. And the D stands for delegate, because I'm going to delegate 3 things out to the universe that I'm thankful for them happening before they've even happened. Now you're thinking, like, what do you mean, Ryan? They haven't even happened yet. But you know what? They're going to happen because I'm writing them down, because I have clear visions, clear dreams, and an action plan to get there. Charlie Rocket says, all these things have happened, Jacqueline. Time just hasn't caught up yet.
I love that.
And we know that when we delegate things out to the universe and we put in the action towards getting there, it kicks in our reticular activating system, the things that we look for. So if we know what we're looking for, we're a lot more likely to find them, right?
Absolutely.
And then lastly, the E. E stands for exceptional. And so I end my journal process with just one thing that I can be exceptional at today. For example, today's was focused time blocks, because we bounce around a lot today. And I want to make sure that each one of my 1-hour time blocks were incredibly purposeful. So I'll be very exceptional today at my 1-hour time blocks, going into each one of those with intention, and then leaving the end of the day knowing I completed each one of those and I've won the day. And from there, I feel good because my brain is firing. I've wrote all these things I'm thankful for, who I'm going to be, on my big dreams, and then I go into the gym, and that's my journaling process right there. So hopefully that's helped some folks. If they aren't journaling, now you have a process you can follow. Just write down what you're thankful for, who you intend to be, something that you want to happen in the universe. Now, don't forget, Jacqueline, we can't just want it. We got to take the action to get there. And then what's your one thing for the day?
I think that's an incredibly simple framework that anyone can use, and it makes it really simple, gives you some direction if you're the kind of person like me that you sit down and maybe you just don't know what to write about. I think that's so helpful, Ryan. Thank you for sharing that. I think we can talk about too, if that's not your jam or you struggle even more. Like me, I sometimes struggle just to even want to journal. And so I use the Growth Day app. It's a Brennan Burchard thing. And there's journal prompts in there. There's morning prompts, evening prompts, there's growth prompts. I love the questions that are in there, a lot of self-reflection, like you said, setting your intentions for the day. And then I have a process that I use where it's like an SOS 911 day because Jacqueline woke up in a mood. You ever have those? Do you ever have those days where you're like, okay, I need a little extra something today?
I think only on days that end in Y.
So I want to share, I've shared this with lots of people over the years. And so I'll share my process for this. This is like those days where I'm feeling a little extra funky. I'm not in a good headspace. And like, to be honest, like there's some of those days where it's like, I can't even write down what I'm thankful for because I'm in such a mood. And so what I do in these days, I don't do this every day, is I write all of my thoughts on the left-hand side of my journal. I just dump them. Like it's like a brain dump. And I don't filter them. I don't edit them. I just dump them onto the page. And then what I do after that is I go through and I write the truth, because normally those negative thoughts, they're not really true. Maybe they're partially true, but they're not fully true. And so I write down what the truth is. So if I'm feeling like I'm a horrible mother, for example, then I'll write down what the truth is. And so those truths that I write on the left-hand side of the page, I write them across from every single thought that I wrote down. Those become my affirmations for the day.
Mm.
Those become my gratitudes for the day. Like you said, my delegations where I'm thankful that I am a mom and that I have an opportunity to pour into my kids' lives. And so I'm not writing something that I don't believe.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting my fears or those lies the stories that I'm telling myself. I'm examining them through that process and I'm writing a truth and it becomes my affirmation. And that's been really, really helpful for me on those days where I just feel a little more, I guess, dark and I'm having a rough time or a rough patch. That has helped me because you can go online and get all sorts of affirmations. You can steal someone else's affirmations, but the most powerful affirmations are the ones that are actually addressing what you're personally experiencing that day without, discounting it or sweeping things under the rug and not addressing them. And so that's been a really powerful process for me to also gain awareness around my thought life, because sometimes you just get so in a fog that you're not even aware of what you're thinking about and how it's making you feel. So I hope that helps someone, especially if you're in a funk or find yourself ever kind of down in the dumps. Start by looking at, well, what am I thinking about? Because our thoughts really contribute to how we feel. And if you can get some awareness around, wow, I've been really focusing on all the problems or really focusing on all of my weaknesses and what everyone's doing wrong, and I can start to bring some attention to something else, it's powerful.
You haven't shared that with me, Jacqueline. I haven't heard of that process. Just to make sure I heard you clearly, you basically write your thoughts on one left side of the paper, you draw a line down the middle, and then you write the truths, the reality on the right side.
Yep, exactly.
Do you cross off those thoughts after you do that? I envision myself like crossing off the thought and empowering the actuality. Do you do that? Like, is there a
I guess in my head, but I love the idea of actually doing it.
just that visualization of like,
Yeah.
actually crossing that out seems powerful to me. Have
Yeah.
you done this multiple times and have you realized that those thoughts are usually the same from past? And I'm wondering, how can we remove those if we have them the same ones multiple times?
I've done it for years and I have noticed some patterns. And I've noticed that whenever I'm feeling, critical of myself or focused too much on, my gaps or what I'm not doing right, that I tend to have a lot of thoughts as well about what, other people are doing wrong or what's wrong with the business or what's wrong,
Mm.
what my husband should be doing. And really what it comes back to is I'm being really critical of myself on the inside and I'm projecting out onto everything else around me. So I guess what we're both saying though is journaling is, and why it's so powerful is because it forces reflection and it brings awareness. And I think we can't really change or shift anything if we're not even aware. Like if I'm not aware that those negative thoughts are whirling around in my head constantly, how am I to then reframe and change and focus on the positive, right? Or deal with something that I need to deal with if I'm just not even aware of it. So journaling is such a great, powerful tool just to bring awareness.
I got, it's so funny. Literally, as you said that, and I was having this thought, a garbage truck just drove by my window. 10 seconds before that garbage truck drove by, I envisioned taking the garbage out because that's how I think of journaling. Like, imagine if you never took the garbage out.
Yeah. So good.
Imagine if you never wrote down those thoughts and you just had those thoughts forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and they never served you, yet you kept having them, yet you never did anything about it. But by putting them on paper, now you're aware of them. Now you can take that garbage out.
That's such a
and
good analogy.
and look at my reticular activating system. Like, I kid you not, I was looking out the window, I thought of a garbage truck, and one freaking drove by. So our thoughts are powerful. Uh,
Yeah.
but that's a really cool process. I would encourage our listeners to go do that immediately. I'm going to go do that. Grab a Sharpie, as we all would, and a big piece of paper in a quiet space and just brain dump. And I'm
Love
going
it.
to take that Sharpie and I'm going to like aggressively cross those things out on the left side.
I
And
like that idea.
it's going to feel good to eliminate those thoughts that don't serve me anymore and focus on the actualities, on the realness, and on the truths of who I am. Jacqueline, I want to share one last thing for our listeners because it's impacted me and I shared it with you. And I journal 6 days a week. I've done that for years. I can go back and look at those journals anytime and it will give me a glimpse of what was going on in my life. So it's a way to catalog my life. And it's a great way to look back and see what I've done, where I've been. But over the last 3 or 4 months, I've changed it on Sundays. And to be honest, I think I was inspired by Chris Suarez's letters, like his blogs that he writes. But I just decided, every Sunday I'm going to write my son Bentley a letter. I don't know if he'll ever read them. I don't plan to give them to him, but I just decided I'm going to use this Sunday when I have a little bit more time to journal. I'm going to use this to kind of tell the story of what happened during the week, some of our wins, some of our challenges, some of the things I was proud of for him, some of the things I was proud of for me, some stuff that I maybe don't want to talk about with him yet, but maybe we'll talk about it at some point. But Jacqueline, it has been really powerful. And I would encourage any of our listeners that have children to give it a try. It's taken me out of my daily routine of journaling, so it gives me a little break from that. But it's just this opportunity to write a couple pages of love to, I only got one kid, so if you got multiple kids, I don't know what to do, but it's really been cool. It's been a cool process and allowed me to share some stuff about him and me on paper that I'm not doing vocally. And I've just really enjoyed it. So I want to share that with our listeners in case they might get something from it as well.
I love that idea. I think you should give it to him. That will be such an amazing gift when he's older, as an adult, to receive that from your dad. Wow. I think that's so cool. I want to write letters to my kids. Mine are all older now, but I could still write letters to them.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to do. And so give it a shot. There's a million ways that you can journal. There's no right or wrong way. I think if you start doing it, you'll start seeing some things go onto that paper. And maybe those are just the initial ones of I had this today, this happened today. But if you keep doing it, deeper thoughts will come out. And hopefully we can take out some of that garbage that's not serving us any longer. We can get into a place of gratitude. And our whole energy is just going to be higher. We're going to have less stress and more energy. Simple.
Yeah. And, gratitude has been linked to better sleep and increased optimism. So there you go. Health benefits all around from journaling and gratitude.
100%. 100%. So as always, thank you to everybody that has listened to these podcasts in the past. Double thank you. If you've listened, you've also hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening to them. And a triple thank you that you've shared it. And you shared it with your friends, your family. You've messaged Jacqueline and I, maybe on Instagram at Bentley's Old Man or Jacqueline Ray Smith. Maybe you've joined our online group on Facebook, A Place for Wellness, or you're just riding with us on the winmakegive.com website. But we thank you for listening. Thank you for your shares. Thank you for your follows. And we are super excited to keep this journey going so we can keep our energy up and our stress down. Jacqueline, take us away.
Well, I just want to say thank you for listening. And as always, we are going to keep these short. Our goal is to keep them right around 15 minutes for the 15 points. And we will catch you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everybody.